Yo, what's good guys? Hope you guys are doing well. Today I'm going to show you how I made this dark atmospheric melody, and I'm going to show you how I did the drums for it. I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet, but I'm also going to try and tell you the theory that I use. Alright, so let's dive right into it. So the first sound I used was a pluck from Analog Labs, and this is the melody I came up with. Okay, so I started in a C sharp harmonic minor scale. Fuck, that's an absolute mouthful.
That's what she said.
I started with some basic chords here and here, and then I kind of built off this. So let me show you how I made this. Let me get rid of this top melody here. So I started with this chord, and I kind of kept this G sharp in here to keep that bounce. And same with this C sharp. You'll see that the C sharp and G sharp repeat everywhere. Right? Perfect. So then what I did was I added this top melody, but I tried to add a little bit of contrast between this root note here. So as you can see right here, I have a C and this C sharp playing at the same time. When you have half steps playing like this at the exact same time, it kind of gives it a darker sounding feeling. And this top melody is really what gives it the bounce. So I copied these two bars right over here. Then what I did was I added some effects. So I added some pan man to kind of give it that side to side feeling. I added some reverb so it wasn't as dry, and I also added halftime. But on the halftime, you'll notice I put the mix down to 41% just so it wasn't fully halftime. And this is what that sounds like. So what I did next was I took this and I rendered it out to an audio clip. With it rendered out, what I did was I put the pitch down 800 cents, I reversed it, and then I also stretched it out so it was double the length. And this is the main thing that gives this beat a very dark sound, and what gives a lot of beats very dark sound is that stretched, slowed down, and reverbed melody.
Just know something bad is going to happen.
Okay, perfect. And when you have a dark sounding sound like that, it's really easy to build another melody off of that. So because I shifted it down 800 cents, that means I have to shift the entire melody down 8 notes. So if I started at C sharp and I go down 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that leaves me at an F minor harmonic. So I go into my view scale highlighting and I change this from C sharp to F. Now the next few sounds are just basically layered sounds. So I started with some chords. So in this F minor harmonic scale, I basically built this chord, which is just a root note, a note that's up here, and then the top note is just the root note copied up. So essentially what this chord is, it's a minor chord, but that middle note is missing, and I've copied the root note up an octave. So if this were to be a proper minor chord, this would be down here, but instead I wanted that higher pitched sound, so I took the root note and pitched it up an octave. And this is what that first chord sounds like. And this was a preset called Drunk Texting in Analog Labs. For effects on that, I drained it out in reverb so it was very dark and ominous. Now the next sound was I copied those chords to a different sound in Analog Labs, which was this kind of weird pluck sound. And you can probably already tell that I added pan man to that. I also added Fruito stereo enhancer, and I also added a portal effect to it. Preset's called Kaleidoscope and Portal. In Analog Lab, the preset's called Fire 1. Now with a lot of my melodies, I like to add a very distant whistle or some sort of lead in the background that's kind of spaced out and has a very harsh chorus effect to it. So I came up with this melody with the Analog Labs again. It's called the Loving preset, and I added Magic Switch and just kind of turned that up to the max, and this is what that sounds like.
Nice.
Super simple. Again, a lot of the theory is just staying within the scale and playing all your sounds at once to see what sounds good. You can be in the same scale and something will sound off. That's because something's either like a half step away and it's kind of giving that weird sound effect, or it's kind of giving that darker feeling. And honestly, you don't need to stay in a scale. It's just something that will work. Whenever you're staying in a scale, it will sound better. If you want to go out of the scale, it might sound a little off, or it might sound fine because it's in another scale that you don't even realize you're using. Now the next sound I added was a piano effect, and I came up with another little counter melody. This has absolutely no effects on it. This is what it sounds like. Melodies don't have to be really complicated with like 3,000 different melodies going on at the same time. Keep it simple, allow the rapper to rap over it, and it'll turn out to be a great melody. So I copied that previous piano melody into this lead or whistle sound, and this is what it sounds like. Can you guess what effect was on that? Oh yeah, magic switch. I told you, every single lead, every single whistle that I do always has magic switch on it. I think it gives it such a 2012 feeling to it. I really am a fan of that like 2012, 2010 kind of rap era. And then the last thing I added was just a simple sub bass from Serum. So this is just following the root notes of the previous chord progression that I laid out. So again, everything's in the scale, everything's kind of overlapping with each other, and everything's kind of layered. So altogether, the melody sounds like this. And you'll notice just by looking at the melody, there are a lot of half-step notes in here that are right next to each other, and that's what gives it a very dark feeling. So keep that in mind when you're making melodies. And then I haven't arranged it or anything, I just send this out to producers for them to get an idea of if they like the beat or not, but this is the drums for it. It's literally just 4 things right now: the hi-hats, the snares, and the kick and 808. So the hi-hats are pretty much just a simple 2-step pattern with this lower note playing every now and then. You don't have many hi-hat rolls, you just 1 or 2 that are right next to each other. And the hi-hats sound like this. Has a really nice bounce, and the snares are simple, they're just playing every 3rd beat, and the 808s are also simple because they're just following these root notes. So the drums on their own sound like this. The drums on their own sound solid, and that's what gives a lot of beats their signature bounce. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. If you did, let me know in the comments below. If you didn't, let me know in the comments below. If you guys like these type of videos, let me know. I'm planning on switching it up next month and doing a couple tech videos for producers. Alright, but that's it for this video. I'm gonna let the beat play for the outro. I hope you guys liked it. I'm PJ, and I'm out.